All right, I want to welcome everyone to our live Saturday morning presentation. As you can see by our opening slide, we're going to talk about the unique selling properties of ProArgi-9 Plus. This product is the flagship product of Synergy worldwide. Although we have a lot of additional great products that have been brought to the table, many of them by Dr. Matthew Tripp and the Hughes Center for Research and Innovation, and some of those products have the potential to be able to sell and become flagship products in their own rights. The massive growth of Synergy worldwide, both here in the United States as well as throughout the world, they're now in 28 different countries, is the growth of ProArgi-9 Plus and being able to help people improve their cardiovascular health. And in our when Donald was talking, and for those that are, this is being recorded, so people who are listening to this won't understand what Donald was talking about initially, but we're going to give Donald some time at the end to talk about the power of nitric oxide therapy. And so one of the things that we want to be able to do is help you understand that in the unique selling properties of ProArgi-9 Plus, the way that you want to position this product is not to talk to people about ProArgi-9 Plus. Instead, you want to talk to people about nitric oxide therapy and what nitric oxide therapy can do for people. And as they become then interested in how nitric oxide therapy could help them address high blood pressure or diabetic complications, or for men, erectile dysfunction, or for many people, cognitive improvements in memory and cognitive function, just a wide range of different types of cardiovascular issues. When you're talking about nitric oxide therapy, you're now talking about something that they've most likely never heard about before. You do not come across as a person trying to sell them a product, but rather give them information that would be beneficial to them to create an interest, because once that interest is created, they're going to want to know, well, what should I use to harness this power of nitric oxide therapy? And then that is your opportunity to talk to them about our product of choice, which is ProArgi-9 Plus. And you want to be able to understand the unique selling properties of ProArgi-9 Plus. Now, on the screen, you can see the old packaging for ProArgi-9 Plus and the new packaging for ProArgi-9 Plus. So historically, we've been kind of branded as the blue label. And as you're going through this transition, almost all the ProArgi-9 Plus now has the new labeling. I got in yesterday a 48-pack of the grape canisters, and they finally have changed the outside of the packaging, the wrapper for the canisters. The wrapper for the big jumbo jars have been changed. The wrapper or the box for the ProArgi-9 Plus has been changed. And now finally, the canisters, the wrappers for the canisters are being changed. So you can see that we've gone from a branding, what I would call a branding in the market of a blue label, to now the new branding that corresponds to the microbiome program, because all of these things are interrelated. And as we go through this, before we get to the unique selling properties of ProArgi-9 Plus, I wanted to take some time to share with you that you may get some questions with regards to the supplemental facts and what is being listed on the supplemental facts in the new labeling compared to the old labeling. So I have on the screen here the old labeling on the left-hand side, and I have on the screen the new labeling on the right-hand side. And I want to show you the major differences and help you understand that the product is exactly the same as what it used to be, except in the new labeling, there are different daily values that are now set for nutritional supplements that are different than what the old labeling shows. And I just want to take a couple minutes this morning to help you understand the major differences. You'll notice that the total carbohydrates are the same, 5 grams, but the calories per serving went from 15 to 35. Now, when you're dealing with natural nutritional ingredients, they do vary from year to year, batch to batch, because they're natural. Their growing cycles are different. So when they did the new analysis to update their supplemental facts on the batch that they used to do that, the caloric value of that increased from 15 to 35. The total carbohydrates remain the same. Now, when you go down through here, you're going to see that the ingredients pretty much all stayed the same. Well, let me rephrase that. The ingredients all stayed the same, but how they're listed changed. And so in that listing, there were certain changes that looked like a perceived difference in what was the old formulation versus the new. Now you can see for vitamin C, it's 60 milligrams. Vitamin D3, they changed from international units to micrograms. That is now the accepted way of showing vitamin D3. Rather than international units, it's now micrograms. And you'll notice that it went from 2,500 international units to 62 micrograms. We're going to come back to this and help you understand that the amount is exactly the same. Vitamin K is the same, 20 micrograms. Vitamin B6 is the same, 2 micrograms. The folic acid went from, well, is shown as 200 micrograms. Now it's shown as 333 micrograms DFE. Well, thankfully, Synergy Worldwide also put in parentheses that it's still the same 200 micrograms of folic acid. And then vitamin B12 is the 6 micrograms as before, and the proprietary blend is the same 6.5 grams. Now, you'll notice that the value, the daily nutritional value, has changed for some of these. The vitamin C went from 100% down to 67%. Well, the reason why you see the change is because the federal government now recognizes the importance of vitamin C, and that you need a higher level of vitamin C than what you did before. And the same thing on vitamin K. Before it was 25% of the daily value. Now it's shown as 17% because the government is recognizing the value of vitamin K. And although Synergy doesn't list the vitamin K as vitamin K2, when you see the MENA, that tells you that it's vitamin K2. And typically when you're dealing with physicians, physicians don't understand the difference between vitamin K1 and vitamin K2. So sometimes you have to educate physicians, especially if you have a client that's on some type of blood thinning medication, to help them understand that vitamin K1 may interfere with a blood thinning medication, but vitamin K2 does not. We're going to talk about this specific ingredient a little bit later in our presentation to help you understand why. But a very short aspect is that vitamin K2 helps to regulate calcium levels in the bloodstream and does not interfere with blood thinning medications. So it's a completely different vitamin K. Vitamin K2 is completely different than vitamin K1. And then you'll notice that, again, we go through these different ingredients and you can see that the percent daily value has changed, actually in many cases gone down for most of them. Although on the vitamin B6 it's gone up because, again, the government has changed the values that they recognize that a person needs on a daily basis. So if you want more information about this, Synergy Worldwide actually put up a blog post. Here's the link for it. And if you go into Synergy's blog and you put in your search term nutritional facts, you'll come to this one here. And so you can just, again, read through this to help you understand and help your clients understand that although they're seeing different values on the supplement facts for their products, the products have not changed. They're exactly the same. The government has changed their standards and the government has changed the way that product labeling has to be shown, and Synergy needs to be compliant to those changes. Now, going back to our presentation today. So let's get into this major one because I've had several people ask me about this. I've had several distributors send me emails wanting me to answer a question for them. Why is there this change in vitamin D3? My customer has noticed that the percent has gone down and it looks like the amount has significantly gone down. What did we change in that product? Well, there's no change in vitamin D3. The only change is that they're now listing it as micrograms rather than international units. So you can go and do a Google search. And so on a Google search, I have this Google search here for vitamin A because it represents IUs, because vitamin A is typically put in IUs and it's being, again, converted to MCGs. So for what's important in this thing from Google is that for vitamin D, 1 international unit is the biological equivalent of 0.025 micrograms. So when you take that and you take 2,500 international units and multiply it by 0.025, what it equals is 62.5 micrograms, which is the amount that is being listed here for vitamin D3. So it's 62, they don't put the 0.5 in there. So this is exactly the same amount of vitamin D3, except because of the new labeling, it looks to be a smaller amount, but it is equal to 2,500 international units. And although the percentage went from 625% down to 310%, it's because the federal government now recognizes that vitamin D3 is extremely important in overall health. And so they've increased the daily amount the person needs to consume. And because they increased the daily amount a person needs to consume, then the percent that you're getting from Synergy Worldwide went down because the government increased the amount that they recognize that is necessary for good health. So I hope that is helpful. And again, these are just changes that you're going to see in the labels, but understand that the product itself is exactly the same as what it was before. Now let's get to the unique selling properties of ProArgi-9 Plus. And as I shared at the beginning of our conversation, we talk in terms of nitric oxide therapy. I will tell you flat out that if you are still trying to sell people ProArgi-9 Plus, if you change to helping people understand how nitric oxide therapy can benefit them, you will see a substantial increase in your ability to acquire clients on ProArgi-9 Plus. And the reason why is when you try and sell people ProArgi-9 Plus, they feel like you're trying to sell them something. And if you are like most people, when you perceive someone trying to sell you something, you naturally put up your walls. But if you have someone who shares information with you that you perceive would be helpful to you, those walls do not come up. And so when you understand how to talk in terms of nitric oxide therapy and how that could help that person naturally address that, simple questions like we've had in other previous Saturday morning presentations. Person's got high blood pressure. Susie, have you ever heard about how nitric oxide therapy could be a natural way to address your high blood pressure? And then once you ask that question, just keep your mouth shut because Susie's going to most likely say, what? Yeah, have you ever heard of nitric oxide therapy? Never heard of that. Well, nitric oxide therapy is Nobel Prize winning information and it can help you naturally address your high blood pressure. Would you like to get more information about that? And so when you talk in terms of nitric oxide therapy, you can begin to help people want to accept information, actually desire you to give them information to help them find a natural way to address a particular cardiovascular health issue that they're experiencing, high blood pressure or diabetic complications. And so this whole process becomes the ability for you to be able to get information into the hands of people, and then they're going to want to know, well, how do I harness this? How do I make nitric oxide therapy work for me? Well, our recommendation and our product of choice is what's called ProArgi-9 Plus. And so we want to give you the 4 unique selling properties of ProArgi-9 Plus that you need to memorize, because you're also going to get people who are going to ask you this question. Because maybe they've already been on the internet and they're searching for ways to naturally address their high blood pressure, and they're coming across information about nitric oxide therapy. And when you ask them question, have you ever heard about nitric oxide therapy? And they say, yeah, I've been searching on the internet about it. And they get to ProArgi-9 Plus and they ask you that question, why your product versus XYZ? And there's plenty of XYZ products that are out there in the marketplace. You must be able to separate ProArgi-9 Plus from the rest of the competition. And if you understand these 4 unique selling properties of ProArgi-9 Plus, you'll be able to separate ProArgi-9 Plus from any of the other products that are in the marketplace for nitric oxide therapy. And so here are the 4 unique selling properties. It all starts with the physician's desk reference. So the physician's desk reference is the main reference book that doctors use for guidelines on what they would recommend to their patients. Now, I do not know whether we're listed in the 2018 physician's desk reference, but it's irrelevant because what you need to do is you need to understand how to position your information. So what makes our product different from ProArgi-9 Plus? Well, first off, we're actually recognized by the medical community. We've been listed for the last 4 years in the physician's desk reference. And you know, the first line quote of that listing is this: ProArgi-9 Plus is the highest quality L-arginine supplement in the world. Now, John, that's not me telling you this. This is the physician's desk reference, the medical community stating that ProArgi-9 Plus is the highest quality L-arginine supplement in the world. So all those other products that you've looked at, those are all, you know, what they say are you know, marketing techniques for you to try and buy their product or get you to buy their product. The physician's desk reference is completely independent. And so this is the main reference book that physicians use for guidelines and what they recommend to their patients. And they're stating that ProArgi-9 Plus is the highest quality L-arginine supplement in the world. Secondly, we're the only clinically proven L-arginine supplement in the marketplace. All the other companies can make their statements that they want to, but we are the only clinically proven L-arginine supplement. We're clinically proven to produce higher levels of nitric oxide than L-arginine alone. And secondly, we're also clinically proven to prevent vascular inflammation in 2 very specific ways. Why do people want to use our product than others? Well, quality assurance is extremely important. I'm sure you've seen many news articles about nutritional supplements that have been pulled from shelves and tested, and typically over half of them never meet their label claims. That will never, ever happen with Synergy Worldwide's ProArgi-9 Plus. Our quality assurance standards are second to no one. There are 262 verified quality assurance steps. So I know that every time that you get a batch of ProArgi-9 Plus from me or from Synergy Worldwide, you're always going to have the same reproducible results. Additionally, our product is made at Nature Sunshine Products, a giant in the nutrition industry, which is an FDA audited facility, an NSF certified facility, and a TGA certified. TGA is the Therapeutic Goods Association of Australia, and they're even more stringent than the FDA. And then finally, John, you can put this product to the test, and if it doesn't meet your expectations, you have a 100% money-back guarantee. Here in the United States, that is a 120-day money-back guarantee that if this product does not meet your expectations, you can return it to Synergy Worldwide and you'll get a full refund on the cost of your product. Now, they don't refund the shipping fee and they don't refund the handling fee, but they do refund the full cost of the product. So you can put this product to the test and see why this product is our product of choice for helping you harness the power and benefits of nitric oxide therapy. Now, the more that you understand these 4 selling points, the more that you can emphasize which one is important to the client or the person that you're talking to. But you need to understand these, and I'll show you a little bit later in today's presentation where you can find a video that you can listen to and watch so that you can get these 4 selling properties, these 4 unique selling properties of ProArgi-9 Plus down. And the more you get it down and put it into your own words, the more that you're going to help that person understand why this product, ProArgi-9 Plus, is not just your product of choice, but should be their product of choice. And that's the most important thing. You want to use these 4 unique selling properties so that that person understands why ProArgi-9 Plus should be their product of choice. Now, when we go through this, there are also 6 key ingredients. There's more than 6 ingredients that are in ProArgi-9 Plus. But these are the 6 key ingredients that you need to understand, not necessarily being able to share all this information with an individual, but these are things that separate the product from the rest of the competition. L-arginine, L-citrulline, resveratrol, or what used to be called red wine extract, which is now called a little bit differently. It's the same thing. Vitamin D3, vitamin K2, and then pomegranate fruit concentrate. So everything always starts with L-arginine. This is Nobel Prize winning information. Again, we have a video that I'll show you a location for that will help you understand that in 1998, 3 American researchers discovered how the amino acid L-arginine is converted by the lining of the vascular system. That lining is called the endothelium, into what's known as nitric oxide, the master signaling molecule of your entire cardiovascular system. Now, you'll notice that I don't have any notes in front of me. I have that memorized because what you're doing is you're validating the importance of L-arginine. This is Nobel Prize winning information. In 1998, 3 American researchers won the Nobel Prize for discovering how this amino acid called L-arginine is converted by the lining of your vascular system into nitric oxide, the master signaling molecule of your entire cardiovascular system. You could not live without nitric oxide. That's that important to you. So what makes our L-arginine different than the rest of the marketplace? Well, first off, it's pharmaceutical grade, which means that it meets the highest standards set for optimal absorption of this amino acid. Most of the L-arginine in the supplements that people buy off the shelves is food grade. And food grade varies widely, as well as the sourcing. Now, I don't have the sourcing for this, and I don't remember in the new website whether Synergy still has their FAQ, frequently asked questions, but the L-arginine that is from Synergy Worldwide used in ProArgi-9 Plus is from biofermentation of non-GMO maize or corn. So it's pharmaceutical grade, which means that it meets the highest standard set for optimal absorption, and you're getting 5 grams per serving. I had a person contact me the other day, and they had bought some L-arginine at a drug or at a health food store and want to know, because they still had some, if they could use it with ProArgi-9 Plus. And so I said yeah, just don't take them at the same time. Take your ProArgi-9 Plus first thing in the morning, and if you want to use up your L-arginine supplement, then take that late afternoon or early evening. But here's the key thing for them. Their L-arginine supplement that they bought was 1,000 milligrams or 1 gram, which means that they would need to take 5 of those capsules to equal 1 scoop of ProArgi-9 Plus. And in addition to that 1 scoop of ProArgi-9 Plus, they're not just getting 5 grams of pharmaceutical L-arginine, but they're also getting all the other ingredients that are in the supplemental facts for ProArgi-9 Plus. All the ingredients that we're going to talk about plus more. So from a value standpoint, there's no comparison. I can tell you that if a person went to a health food store and tried to replicate through a health food store individual supplements to match up to ProArgi-9 Plus supplemental fact, they will end up spending more money and taking a whole lot more tablets and capsules to be able to equal it, which is a waste of time and effort, where they can get it all in 1 serving. So L-arginine is always the first and most important ingredient to understand. Now, when you're dealing with L-arginine, it's important to understand that the conversion of L-arginine to nitric oxide only provides a short window of improved nitric oxide production. And if you go back to our unique selling properties, what is one of the unique selling properties? ProArgi-9 Plus has been clinically shown to produce higher levels of nitric oxide than L-arginine alone. So you need more than just L-arginine, but if you're using only L-arginine, you're only going to get temporary benefits in blood flow. You're not going to get long-lasting benefits because it's short-lived. And so you need other ingredients to be able to help optimize this nitric oxide production over a long period of time. Well, the next key ingredient is L-citrulline. L-citrulline is extremely important to have as part of that component. I don't have a picture of Dr. Ignaro's book, No More Heart Disease. But if you get Dr. Ignaro's book, No More Heart Disease, it's still the best book in the industry on helping people understand the importance of nitric oxide therapy for improved vascular health. And he will flat out tell you that if you're using only L-arginine by itself, you're wasting your time and your money. You must combine L-arginine with L-citrulline and other key ingredients to help optimize the ability of your lining of the vascular system called the endothelium to produce nitric oxide. And so what I did is I just put up the metabolic pathway for nitric oxide. And you can see that L-citrulline is key to keeping this nitric oxide production going. If you did not have L-citrulline in this cycle, then what would happen is the arginine would be converted to nitric oxide and it would be one and done. But because you have L-citrulline as part of that component ingredient, what happens is not only do you have nitric oxide produced, but the L-citrulline converts back to other ingredients that can then go back into the nitric oxide pathway through the endothelium to again produce more nitric oxide. This is a key ingredient that you need to have as part of the mix to get increased nitric oxide produced over a long period of time. The next key ingredient is what's called resveratrol or red wine extract, but if you look at the new labeling on the boxes, it's now called red grape polyphenol extract, which is a good thing because when it used to be called red wine extract, they don't use the term resveratrol because it's a trademark term. So they use red wine extract. And so I've had many customers call me who, because of religious aspects, they can't drink anything that has alcohol in it. And so they have, and so I'm sure there's many people that have not called me who have chosen not to use ProArgi-9 Plus because they see red wine extract, and because they see the word wine, they immediately associate it with alcohol, and so they make the assumption that they cannot take that product because it has alcohol in it. Well, that's not the case. Red wine extract is just a polyphenol. So now in the new labeling, Synergy has it listed as red grape polyphenol extract. So we will most likely not get that question anymore. Does this have alcohol in it? Because if it does, I can't take it. It's a red grape polyphenol extract. So why is that important? Well, it helps to reduce LDL oxidation and protects against arterial damage. We go back to these unique selling properties. What's the second one? It's been clinically proven to prevent vascular inflammation in two specific ways. Well, one of the specific ways is that ProArgi-9 Plus prevents LDL cholesterol from being oxidized. And that's extremely important because it's the oxidation of a component of low-density lipoprotein called very low-density lipoprotein. Once that's oxidized, it causes inflammation of the vascular system, and that inflammation typically then leads to plaque formation over time. So having this key ingredient, red grape polyphenol extract, helps to reduce or prevent LDL oxidation, which then protects against arterial damage. We have vitamin D3 and vitamin K2. This combination is extremely important because it regulates calcium levels in the bloodstream, and the production of nitric oxide by the endothelium is a calcium-dependent reaction. This is one of the reasons why ProArgi Plus is so incredibly effective in helping to produce higher levels of nitric oxide over a much longer period of time, because they understood the value of combining vitamin D3 and K2 to properly regulate calcium levels in the bloodstream. Separately, vitamin D3 supports healthy cardiovascular function and inflammatory response. And for Black population groups, vitamin D3 is extremely important to increase their vitamin D levels in their bloodstream, because it can have a profound benefit in helping to prevent diabetic complications. And historically, for Black population groups, their vitamin D levels in their bloodstream are extremely low. And so if you can help the Black population group increase their vitamin D levels in their bloodstream, you can help them see significant health benefits, especially as it applies to their cardiovascular health. Now, in vitamin K2, it's really important for you to understand the difference between K1 and K2. K1 is used by many companies because it's significantly cheaper to use. The problem is vitamin K1 doesn't support vascular health and may actually interfere with blood thinning medications. Whereas again, vitamin K2 is just the opposite. This correct form is what helps to significantly improve arterial and cardiovascular health. And if you do a Google search on peer-reviewed clinical studies for vitamin K2, just for vitamin K2, you are going to see plenty of peer-reviewed clinical studies that show that as you increase vitamin K2 levels, your intake of it, it reverses the calcification of the arteries and other soft tissues, like your heart, like your kidneys, throughout your system. So vitamin K2 is an extremely important ingredient. And if you have clients that want to increase their vitamin K2 levels above what's in ProArgi Plus, that would be a good thing for them to go out and get additional vitamin K2 that will continue to help them better regulate calcium levels in their bloodstream, keep calcium in the bones where it belongs, and help the body to move calcium back from their arteries into their bones where it belongs. So again, vitamin K2 is an extremely important ingredient to have, and most of the other competition does not include vitamin K2. They do vitamin K1 either because they don't understand the importance of vitamin K2 or they want to do it cheaply and less effectively. And then we have pomegranate fruit concentrate. This ingredient is hugely important. And if you'll notice that on your product ingredient list, it's the second one listed typically, unless there's xylitol in the product. And then you'll see xylitol as a second ingredient, and then pomegranate fruit concentrate as the third ingredient, and then L-citrulline as the fourth ingredient. Or if there's no xylitol in the product, like in the grape formulation, then pomegranate fruit concentrate is the second ingredient, and L-citrulline is the third ingredient. Now, by law in the United States, you have to list ingredients by quantity. And so in the proprietary blend, we know that there's 5 grams of L-arginine, and then the rest of that blend is made up of the rest of those ingredients, and they have to list them based upon levels. The higher the level puts them into the first position. So L-arginine, pomegranate fruit concentrate. Well, this is an extremely critical ingredient because it enhances the enzymatic activity of the endothelium, which then allows the endothelium to actually produce more nitric oxide. And again, you can do a Google search for peer-reviewed clinical studies in regards to pomegranate fruit concentrate, and you will find that using pomegranate fruit concentrate has been shown to reverse plaque formations within the vascular system because of its ability to increase nitric oxide production. So again, this is an extremely important ingredient to have in the product. And it's these 6 ingredients that create a great deal of the value of ProArgi Plus being clinically proven to produce higher levels of nitric oxide more rapidly than L-arginine alone, and clinically proven to prevent vascular inflammation in 2 very specific ways. Now, you'll notice I didn't go back to my slide for that. I've got it memorized. I don't always say it the same way, but I have those unique selling properties memorized because I need to be able to help a person understand why ProArgi Plus is our product of choice for harnessing the benefits of nitric oxide therapy, and why ProArgi Plus is still the best nitric oxide supplement of all the ones that are in the marketplace. Now, we've got some resources that you can find a lot of this information. We have our 1010 Club. So if you go to oursynergyfamily.com/1010 Club, you'll come to this page, and if you scroll down to the bottom, we have 3 defined marketing strategies that we try and teach our distributors to build their business around. Either nitric oxide therapy and our product of choice, ProArgi Plus, microbiome research, and our product of choice is the Purify Kit and the other biome products from Synergy Worldwide, or holistic skincare, and our product of choice is TrueLume. Well, our discussion today is about ProArgi Plus, and if you click on this image, it's a live link, and it takes you to this page. This is a training page, or this is our dedicated landing page for helping a person understand how to implement a nitric oxide therapy marketing strategy. And as you scroll down this page, we have a left and a right side. The left side are training videos, and the right side are key resource tools. So I want to highlight a couple things today. This one here, unique selling properties of ProArgi Plus. If you click on this, it's a video hosted up on our YouTube channel that will help you understand. I think it's a 5-minute video that will help you understand the 4 unique selling properties that I just shared with you today. So you can go back. We're recording today's conversation. It'll be posted up on our YouTube channel on Tuesday. We'll post it up on our Facebook page for our Synergy family, and we'll also send out an email of today's recording, Saturday's recording. But here you can always go to this page, and you can always listen to this video, and you can write down the unique selling properties for ProArgi Plus, and put down the key things that are important that you hear, so that you can begin to help memorize those 4 key unique selling properties in your own words, so that when someone asks you why ProArgi Plus versus some other product, you'll be able to quickly separate, in less than 2 minutes, separate all the other products from ProArgi Plus. And I can tell you from experience that when I do this, when people ask me, well, why your product over these other ones that I'm seeing in the marketplace, I end up with a customer 9 times out of 10. Now, as you go down through this, we have some other key things. Like if you watch our nitric oxide therapy webinar, it will help you better understand those 6 key ingredients that I shared with you this morning, as well as additional information about how nitric oxide therapy addresses cardiovascular health concerns. You can use this video. All you have to do is right-click, copy video URL, and you can paste that into an email to a person and say, hey, Mary, good meeting you yesterday. Sorry that you're dealing with the high blood pressure issues. However, what we talked about was this nitric oxide therapy and how it could be a natural way for you to address your high blood pressure. Below is a link to a fantastic video on how nitric oxide therapy can address most cardiovascular health concerns, especially high blood pressure. Please take the time to watch this. This is Nobel Prize winning information, and I think you'll understand how this could be a true benefit to helping you get your blood pressure back into the normal range. Now, I made certain statements in that email. I'm just doing this, I don't have any notes in front of me. I just created an email that I would send to a person, and I incorporated certain things into that email. Benefits to the person I'm sending it to, all in terms of nitric oxide therapy, so that I don't get myself into trouble and I don't get Synergy Worldwide into trouble because I'm putting those benefits on ProArgi-9 Plus. So that's another technique of talking in terms of nitric oxide therapy, because you can share benefits in ways that you cannot share with ProArgi-9 Plus. So when the person understands those benefits as it applies to them, well, what's the product of choice? What product should I use? Well, our product of choice is ProArgi-9 Plus, because we feel that that product does the best job in harnessing nitric oxide therapy. And here's our reasons why. It's listed in the physician's desk reference for the last 4 years. Only clinically proven L-arginine supplement in the marketplace. There's 262 verified quality assurance steps, so that I know that if you decide to use this product, you're always going to get the same reproducible results. And if for some reason it doesn't work for you, it has a 120-day money-back guarantee. So again, I've taken those 4 unique selling properties and I've just condensed them to less than 30 seconds. You need to, if you're going to use ProArgi-9 Plus and nitric oxide therapy as the core marketing strategy for your Synergy business, then don't buy into this thing that you don't need to know information. If you want to be like everyone else, then don't learn information and don't be able to answer questions for your clients so that they can have confidence that you know what you're doing. Now, the other extreme is you don't have to be such an expert that you're talking about the ENOS enzymes of the nitric oxide pathway that are part of the endothelium that lines all of your vascular system, and how your capillaries are just extended. You don't need to go to that extreme either. You need to find that sweet balance of understanding the 4 unique properties of ProArgi-9 Plus and the 6 key ingredients and why they're important. And if you have that basic understanding, then you will separate yourself from the rest of your competition, and you will put into the mindset of the person that you're talking to that you are an expert, you know what you're talking about. And then we have a bunch of other things, like we have the great printout here. This is the old version of how vascular inflammation and plaque grows over time as nitric oxide levels decrease. And then you have the new updated version that Synergy Worldwide did, as well as we've got a whole bunch of other great resource tools. We have our Synergy library. If we go back up here, you can click on the Synergy library, and that's going to take you into all our health videos that we have. We have health videos and general topic videos. We have videos on sickle cell anemia, athletic performance, and business videos. So just go to this page because there's a wealth of information on this page. We have PDFs that we've created. Now, I'm going to take next week to update these PDFs that you could use as flyers to help introduce people to this product, and I'm going to update the images that are part of this. All the information is as valid today as what it was when they were first created, except now we have an image issue with a new box. So I'll update this so that these flyers will be able to be updated to the new imaging for the box of ProArgi-9 Plus, and you can begin to use them. You know, and again, we try to create these flyers so that if you're dealing with someone from an athletic standpoint, you've got one that resonates with an athlete from an image standpoint, or if you're in the Black community, you have one that will resonate to the Black community. I'm in the white Caucasian community. I've got to move this here for a second. So, I can tell you from a demographic standpoint, most of my clients are 45 to 85 years of age. So rather than having a young male and a young female jogging and riding a bike, this image in the white Caucasian community would speak better to my population base, which is interested in finding something to help improve their cardiovascular health. So again, I'll be updating these things so that this image here for the box and stick will be the image of the current packaging for ProArgi-9 Plus. And then I'll put these new PDFs, these new flyers, links to the new flyers onto Facebook in our Synergy family. So if you're on today and you're not part of our Facebook community, then you need to go to Facebook, type in our Synergy family, like us, so that you'll have access to this type of information as we roll it out. Now, with that said, Donald, I know that you had wanted to take some time to share your story. So go ahead and you got 3 minutes, Donald, to share your story, and then we're going to open this up for questions.
Thank you very much, Dan.
You're welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, thanks. Yes, as I said at the beginning of the webinar, today marks the 10th year that my brother, Victor Gas, passed with symptoms that were similar to mine at the time. I too was into heavy sport. In fact, I played golf, still do. And after winning my championship, the club championship, the year before, I found that I couldn't walk. And when I delved into what my problem was, I went to my doctor, and he gave me this letter. Mr. Clark, the test that we have done in our office is within normal limits. Any questions, feel free to notify us. Otherwise, we'll follow up with you at your next scheduled appointment. But what the problem was, I had an irregular heartbeat. And normally in the United States, where I'm from, where I'm living, that kind of stuff has to be escalated to a heart specialist. And within the network, he gave me, he recommended me to his, the heart specialist. And what they found, that it wasn't my heart at all, but it was blockage in my legs, something that I speak to now called peripheral arterial disease. And what I found was that I was 50% blocked in one leg, and about 60% blocked in the other. And I became interested in how this thing can change within a year. And as Dan indicated, didn't know anything about nitric oxide therapy. All I knew was that something was wrong and I needed to investigate. As I went on, I learned about Dr. Ignaro's and his discovery, along with the two other American scientists. And long story short, I've been talking about this product. In fact, I contributed back here in Barbados to a story 2 years ago. Actually, it's now 4 years ago, July 2014. And the headline was Peripheral Arterial Disease, the Conversation No One is Having. And in that, I shared the nitric oxide therapy, and I'm here. I'm going to be doing an update to that article to come out in July again. So it's and all this happened coincidentally on this weekend, and it was 10 years ago. Was a Monday, and it was Memorial Day that he had passed. And this weekend, the family, we are going to get together and do a Memorial Day, so to speak. We'll visit the graveside and, again, pay a little bit of tribute. I'm going to have some stuff in the newspaper because he was the top soccer player for the country, captain, and he was quite young. I mean, he died in his 60s. And I'm fortunate to be turning 70 this year. So I think that I owe it to him, to his memory in giving back.
So Donald, I want to interrupt you for a second because we're getting short on time. So your doctor suggested to you to start using just the amino acid L-arginine. Is that correct?
That's correct, Dan. That's correct.
And then when he did subsequent tests looking at your peripheral artery disease, within 6 weeks, you had how much of an improvement in blood flow?
50% an improvement. And I mean, it was a wow factor. And even him didn't realize that the result or the test would have been so remarkable. And with constant use, he found that I have now, well, then, the arteries of a 29-year-old, and I continue to use the product.
So initially, he gave you L-arginine as a prescription to go and get L-arginine as a supplement to increase nitric oxide to address this issue. And then a couple years later, you came across ProArgi-9 Plus and decided to utilize that because it had most likely more L-arginine than what your prescription supplement, but all these other ingredients. And then when you started using ProArgi-9 Plus, did you see another significant increase in your vascular circulation of your legs?
Absolutely, Dan. And this happened in 2015, where he made the comment that I've got the arteries of a 29-year-old. In fact, the flow, and as you know, I've got my medical record showing the free flow, which is 1.0%, at least in my legs.
So it took you from what you used to have, poor circulation, through nitric oxide therapy, initially through just L-arginine, and then through ProArgi-9 Plus as our product of choice, you went from poor circulation to being back into the normal
range. Normal range. That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. You made a point during this webinar to point out that some of the major health food stores have their version of L-arginine, but I'm here to say that they have citrulline and they sell it separately. So unless an individual knows that they need to combine the two and the portion at which to mix it, this is why ProArgi-9 is as important as it is, because the mixture is already there, the 5-to-1 ratio of L-arginine and L-citrulline.
Great.
Along with the other ingredients.
Thanks, Donald, for sharing that.
I thank you, Dan.
You're welcome. We have just, we're well past our 45 minutes that we usually have for webinars, but it's been value, or at least I hope it's been of value to you. Do I have any questions or comments from anyone before we say goodbye and wish all those that are here in the United States a fantastic Memorial Day weekend, and making sure that we let our veterans know how much we appreciate them for allowing us to live in a free country.
Thank you, Jan.
Thanks,
Great
Tracy.
job.
Thanks, Tracy.
And thanks to all the veterans out there. Thanks for all you've done.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome. Thanks, everyone.